Okay, Merry Christmas, everybody. Jesse Morrell here in Canada. We came up here to visit family for Christmas, and we wanted to see some snow. And the kids are definitely getting snow, I guess, tonight. It's going to start snowing. It's going to snow like all day tomorrow. Tomorrow's Christmas, and we're going to get maybe even up to like 12 to 15 inches. So my kids in Texas, they don't really see any of that. So they're very excited. I'm excited for them. We're going to make some cool things out in the snow. I'm from Connecticut where we had snow, we had blizzards, so I think this will be the first blizzard for the kids. That's a nativity movie in the background. I just wanted to try and make it Christmassy. Anyway, so we're getting a white Christmas. There's a lot of talk about Christmas. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it pagan? Is it Christian? Is it of God? Is it of the devil? I want to talk about why I personally celebrate Christmas. I know a lot of brethren, I guess, who don't celebrate Christmas, and that's their personal conviction, and that's great. That's fine if that's their conviction. Have at it. I just want to share why I think Christmas is a good thing, and why I'm glad that we have it in our culture, in our society. The best part about Christmas to me is all the Christmas songs that are about Christ. You hear it on the radio, on lots of different stations, and it's not just, like the secular Christmas songs that have nothing to do with Jesus, but that you have, songs about Jesus being born in a manger. I remember when I first got saved, I was walking through the mall and they were playing through the PA system the song Mary Did You Know? And it's all about, Christ and how, it's like, oh, the baby that you've delivered will one day deliver you type of a thing. So it was really talking about salvation and what Christ came into the world to do. And I thought, walking through that mall, that's pretty amazing that they're broadcasting the gospel throughout the entire mall, 1 week out of the year. If I try and preach through the mall, if you go open air preaching through the mall or even give out gospel tracts in the mall, you're going to get shut down. I've been shut down for passing out gospel tracts in numerous malls. But once a year, there's like a week or two where they just blast the gospel through the PA system. And so I think that's a very good thing, a very good thing for sure. When I was growing up, the gospel wasn't really something that my family talked about. I didn't grow up in a Christian home. We didn't go to church except around Christmas, actually. We would go to church, Christmas Eve, but we would listen to, Christmas music. So my first exposure to the gospel was through Christian Christmas music. I remember very vividly as a child being in the car and my mom is playing Christmas music through the radio, and I'm just looking up at the stars thinking about God becoming a man and being born into a manger, and God became a baby. And it really made an impression upon my young mind and planted a seed that later, gave root when I was a teenager. And so I was first exposed to the gospel through Christmas music, just through the radio. And so I think that's a very good thing in our society, a very good influence. Think about how many countless other people who otherwise would never have heard the gospel because they're not going to hear it from their family, or they're not going to go to church, or they're not going to hear it in school, but they hear the gospel through Christmas music. And so, it's a very good thing in our society. So, many would hear the gospel who otherwise wouldn't hear it. And so, our nation has largely forgotten God and turned its back on God. But once a year, our nation is being reminded of the baby who was born in a manger. And you have all these nativity scenes. And the fact that these atheists come so hard against Christmas shows that, it must be a good, positive influence in society. It really is spreading the gospel. So I view Christmas as a form of evangelism. It's when people become outspoken about their faith. They put nativity scenes, out in public. Churches that wouldn't have a gospel banner will put a nativity scene. And that nativity scene really is expressing a message that God became a man and he was born in a manger, and ultimately leads to the crucifixion and the atonement that he made for our sin. So our nation has turned its back on God, but it's reminded about God and the gospel once a year. We celebrate Christmas. We give gifts to our kids. We don't do the Santa Claus thing. my kids know Santa. They know who he is as a story. They've seen some Santa cartoons or something, but it's no different from to them, it's no different than like the Grinch. They know the Grinch isn't real, but it's a Christmas story. Or Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, it's just a Christmas story. Santa Claus to them is just a Christmas story. I do think Santa has really hijacked Christmas and taken the focus off of Christ and God giving his own son to, just this Santa Claus figure. And the truth about Santa is that Saint Nick died. Saint Nick is dead. Santa Claus died. That's the truth about Santa. My kids know the truth about Santa. I do think he's stolen the focus, and I don't think that's a good thing. I don't believe in lying to your kids and all of that. But my kids, when I was walking through the mall and I asked my kid jokingly, "Do you want to go see Santa?" And there was this setup there, and he said, "No, Dad." He's only 5. He's like, "No, Dad." He says, "I know Santa's not real, and he's just a guy in the mall trying to make some money, And so he's not into that. But we do give gifts to the kids, and we tell them that God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, that the greatest gift is what God gave, and that was Jesus Christ. So when we celebrate Christmas, we're not celebrating Santa, we're celebrating Christ. So people will say, "Oh, it's wrong to celebrate Christmas." Look, there's nothing wrong with celebrating Christ. That's all I'm celebrating. Whether he was born December 25th or not, they say nobody really knows exactly when he was born. So maybe it was December 25th. If you don't know exactly when he was born, then you just don't know. But either way, we take it as an opportunity to be a positive influence and spread the gospel in our culture, to teach our children. And I think it's a great thing. It really had a positive influence throughout my life. Talking about free gifts and stuff, by the way, I did post on my Facebook and on my blogs and stuff. I'm giving away one of my books for free for Christmas. It's Christmas Eve right now. Tomorrow's Christmas. So for only 2 days, I'm giving this book away. It's called Cleansing the Temple, a call to radical Christianity. It's a book about prayer and purity, preaching and persecution. And so if you want to get that book for Christmas, it's my Christmas present to you. I'll put a link in the description of this video. Just click the description of this video, click that link, and you can sign up for it. So we celebrate Christmas with our kids, but Santa's just a story. But to them, Jesus is the real deal. There's a verse in Isaiah about cutting down a tree and decorating it and that sort of thing. I don't think that's talking about a Christmas tree at all. That's actually talking about carving an idol, cutting down a tree and turning it into an idol. But I'd have a problem with somebody worshiping their Christmas tree. I'd have a big problem with that. But I really don't have a problem with just a Christmas decoration. That's no problem to me. People say that it's got pagan roots. And, honestly, I haven't really studied, all the supposed paganism of Christmas and all the symbolism of it and all that. It's not my topic. I don't know. But I do know there's a lot of paganism in the dollar bill. If you look at the dollar bill, it has a lot of pagan symbols on it. So if you're going to be consistent and say, "Oh, you can't do it because it's got pagan roots," or, how are you going to be using that money that has paganism on it as well? I know how to sanctify my money for the service of Christ, So if you have a problem with paganism, you can just send me your dollar bills and I'll set it aside for the service of Christ. I can sanctify it for Christ, okay? And the same thing with Christmas, I can take Christmas and sanctify it for Christ. We get the Santa Claus stuff out of there and just focus on celebrating Christ and the birth of Christ, watching, stories like the Nativity, and using as to teach my children about the greatest gift of all, which was Christ. And so just want to make this little video why I really value Christmas, why I think it's a good thing in society, why I use it as an opportunity to just further impress upon my children's minds that Christ is real, that he's the greatest gift of all. And I really like it. So I hope everyone else is having a very Merry Christmas. I'm excited for a white Christmas tomorrow, getting some snow. And everybody have a good night. Merry Christmas to you guys.